when the world has got you down. And
Alzheimer's sucks. It's an equal opportunity disease that chips away at everything we hold dear. And to date, there's no cure. So until there is, we continue to fight with the most powerful tool in our arsenal, love. This is Love Conquers Alls, a real and really positive podcast that takes a deep dive into everything Alzheimer's, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And now, here are your hosts, Susie Singer-Carter and me, Don Priest.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susie Singer-Carter.
And I'm Don Priest, and this is Love Conquers Alls. Hello, Susan.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Donald.
This is the first show that we are recording in 2025. And,
It is.
Boy, what a start to a year, huh?
I know. So many things. We live in Los Angeles, so you probably have heard about our brush fires that have been catastrophic and something we've never seen before. It's been 2 weeks for us right now, but every day you discover someone else that you know very well that lost their home. It's a lot to process. A good friend of ours, Harlan Bull, who's also our publicist, has lost his entire home in Altadena, his kitty, and his whole neighborhood. So
It puts a lot of things in perspective, too. It really
Yeah.
does. You know, what's important, what isn't, and what, you know, when you sit there and complain about stuff and say, well, wait a minute. These people and thousands of people have just literally lost everything, like everything.
in seconds, there wasn't a lot of time to prepare. We're not going to dwell too much on it, but
No.
I just think, in a way that it's, you can't minimize it like you can't minimize Alzheimer's, right? You can't minimize disease, you can't minimize Parkinson's or cancer. But what we do is we pick ourselves up and then we pull together all of our resilience and we lean on people that are there to support us. And we get through it because there's no other alternative. You have to
Yeah.
get through it. So you have to make it the best it can be, even if it's devastating, right? And you have to figure out what those priorities and how they change. And to tie it into Alzheimer's, I always say this, that, priorities change all the time, right? So you have these bars that you want to reach in your life, and you've got all these like plans and your checklist and all that stuff. Well, that's all great, but those things change in a minute, in a second. And so you have to figure out, how are you going to deal with that pivot? How are you going to deal with, all of these, what I call getting sucker punched, and you can either just lay down in a fetal position or you brush yourself off. I mean, you'll get in the fetal position for a minute and then you brush yourself off and you figure out how to make a new normal, and without minimizing it, without, being, as some of my colleagues call it, toxically positive. That's also just another way to avoid the truth. We have to embrace the truth, whatever it is. If you've lost your home, if you have a disease, whatever it is, and now, how do you navigate that in the best way? Because my mom taught me this all along her journey. No matter what, life is precious, life is a gift, and we need to take the advantage of the time that we have.
Even if it's just, a little moment of joy here and there, whatever it is, it's finding the best
Yeah.
of.
We have two great guests today, too, who know how to seize the moment, keep things going. So why don't you
Absolutely.
introduce them, Donald?
I'll do that right now. Stephanie Duncan-Peters is a retired District of Columbia Superior Court judge that spent close to 20 years on the bench. She was an appointment by George H.W. Bush and confirmed by the Senate in 1992. Throughout her illustrious career, Judge Duncan-Peters has been active in the District of Columbia Bar and the community. She has worked as a volunteer at the hospice unit at the Washington Home and Friends of the National Symphony and other community groups. Stephanie has recently published a children's book called The Blue-Footed Booby Blues, a harmonious tale that will have readers tapping their feet to the rhythm. She wrote the words back when she was a sitting judge, and now it's available everywhere for kids and families to enjoy. Now, Stephanie is embarking on a new challenge, as she has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Today, she and her husband, Richard James, will share their experiences and challenges as they travel their new journey together. So, without further ado, let's say hello to Stephanie Duncan-Peters and Richard James. Hello, Stephanie and Richard.
Hello, nice to be here.
We're very happy to have you, and happy to read the Blue-Footed Booby Blues, which I love the title. Stephanie, how are you today?
Good. Yeah.
Good. You have an illustrious background. My gosh. I want to just talk politics with you, but we won't get into that. Considering what today is, the 21st of January, you can figure that out. Anyway, wow, what an illustrious background you have. Besides being now a published author, which feels great, I'm sure.
Yeah, it feels good.
You hadn't written before this. How did you get inspired to write?
Well, as a lawyer, you're always writing.
True.
But, yeah. And I love to read. And I love to travel. So, I don't know, I just kind of got into this with the Galapagos Islands because I was like, oh, this is a cool place. I'd like to go there one day.
Wonderful. But it's interesting that it's for children, your book, right?
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah, I'm not writing like any big books, that for adults or anything like that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Which is fun because Dawn and I started off in children's programming, which we loved. We loved it so much. I know I did. I loved it. And, working with the preteens and it was, so much fun. It's when I realized I loved directing kids, and I just had a smile on my face the whole time. It was just fun.
Did you have children in mind? Did you have your own children or other people's children or grandkids, or was there any children in mind when you wrote it?
No, not in particular.
For all kids.
Yeah.
For all kids. And
Go ahead,
how
Susan.
I was going to talk about the music aspect.
That's
of
exactly
it,
where I was
bring it
going. So
easier. Okay, of course, get out of my head. Okay, so yeah, it's the Booby Blues. But so why the blues and why music? Is that something that you dabbled in before? You just happened to love it, or just was arbitrary? How did that work into the story?
Well, I had at one point seen this video of the Blue-Footed Boobies doing their dance. And Richard and I met dancing. So anyway, I really thought it was pretty cool. And it took me a while, but I was able to write the book. And
I love that.
Liked it a
I
lot.
love that, Stephanie, because guess what? I
What?
also share dancing with you. That is my drug of choice. I dance every week, like probably 4 times a week, 5 times if I'm lucky.
Wow.
And I adore it. I just adore it. Like I think I'm a frustrated professional dancer, and
without getting
But,
paid. Yeah.
without getting paid, yeah. In my next life, I will come back as a true dancer. But boy, I really do love it. I highly recommend it to everybody. Do you guys still dance?
Yeah, we do.
Great. What do you
We do.
dance? What kind of dancing do you do?
Well, now we do like some kind of disco dancing sometimes.
We met
And-
doing the hustle. There was a local instructor who put together a little team for beginner intermediate level. And we both joined the team, and that's where we weren't partners in the team, but that's where we met. But it was doing the hustle. The hustle was kind of like our favorite one. And
Oh my God.
the West Coast swing.
I love it. I love it. Well, I started doing hip hop like
Oh,
10 years
wow.
ago. And I was like, I was so intimidated by this class, and I would walk by it all the time and go, I could never do that. And then a couple of my friends were in there, and they said, come on, you could do it, you could do it. Anyway, I still do it, and it's my addiction. So we're very simpatico that way. And I love a guy that'll dance, Richard.
That's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed it.
I love it. I love it. There's nothing better, right?
Right.
Yep.
It's so joyful. Before we jump into your Alzheimer's, Stephanie, I'm interested. I'm looking at your bio. You were a volunteer at the hospice unit
Yep.
of Washington Home, and Don and I are doing a documentary currently called No Country for Old People.
No.
And it's really about the broken system of our long-term care and a nursing home and a hospice. And
Yeah.
my mother got caught up into it 3 years ago, and it was shocking for me. And I decided to do a documentary motivated by what I saw, and working with, which you'll like this, a former federal prosecutor, Rick Montcastle, who was an attorney general in Virginia and federal prosecutor who prosecuted pharmaceuticals and was the main prosecutor against Purdue Pharma for their marketing of OxyContin. There was a miniseries called Dope Sick on Hulu. But he also federally prosecuted nursing homes for fraud for over 20 years and never saw any change, right? So it is, so I find it very interesting that you were volunteering at hospice, which you probably know, we talk about it in our documentary, has become very big business.
Well, it was really good that I volunteered there, because when my mom got sick, I was able to bring her in right away.
Right.
So, and stay with her for like 3 days until she passed away. So, yeah, so that was really good.
Right, right.
It pays to be a volunteer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's
Pays to be
interesting.
good, yeah.
I think volunteering is really such a, there's nothing more rewarding to me, like being able to go, once I started getting involved in that community because of my mom, it really changed who I was and changed how I saw life, really, and, but let's talk about Alzheimer's, since we are Love Conquers Alls, and you two are, really the poster children for Love Conquers Alls, because Stephanie, you were diagnosed. How long ago were you diagnosed with Alzheimer's?
I don't know.
Do you
It's been
remember?
a while now.
Well, we first noticed something about 3 years ago. It was actually her sister-in-law told me, said, Richard, something's... Stephanie and I met about 12 years ago. So
Okay.
we've been married for 10 years. So, I didn't know her when she was 30 and 40 and 50 years
Right.
old. But so the sister-in-law brought it to my attention, but I didn't really see anything wrong. And then it was probably about a year and a half ago, a couple things happened that I'm like, something's not right here. So that's when we started the journey of trying to find out what was wrong. And the process. It's one doctor, a neurologist, another doctor, until finally we got a diagnosis about a year ago.
But, I have a friend who has Alzheimer's, and he's passed away now. But we, before I knew anything about my having Alzheimer's, a whole group of us that we all had been like together in law school, we did this walk. We do this walk every year for him. Yeah. So, I guess because of that, I'm not like so, completely out of whack, because
Right.
Yeah.
he was really smart, and he was Harvard law professor and everything,
Right.
and he got Alzheimer's. So, it's an equal opportunity disease.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Stephanie. I was just about to say exactly those words. It's equal opportunity.
Yeah.
And you know what I find after interviewing different people who are living with Alzheimer's and living with it, I mean that, in the best way. There is what's called a cognitive reserve, right? And you being a law professional and being a writer and having those skills imprinted on you so indelibly that that is your cognitive reserve. Like my mother's cognitive reserve was her music. So you're right. So she maintained that all through her life, and I believe that you will maintain that part of you as well. And I think you probably saw that with your colleague and your friend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, that's what's so amazing, because you got to share his journey, like you said, and it took a lot of the mystery away from it, and like you said, it hasn't devastated you.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's what's so important about you coming on today and sharing your story, because you're just sitting there and very nonplussed about it, right? You, in a way, and I know that, sure, you don't want it. Nobody wants it. I fear it because, I mean, my mom had it. I think every time I forget a word, I'm like, okay, get ready. Here it comes. You know, I don't know. It could happen tomorrow. I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm going to be like you, Stephanie. I'm going to be like, okay, I've seen it. I know what it is. I can, you know, we're going to do this because everybody has something.
Let's keep living. Yeah. Let's keep living, because what's the alternative? You know?
Yeah. And Richard, you're such a joyful human being. Like, I just love that you guys met only 12 years ago, and here you are, and you're just like in it. You're ride or die, right?
Yeah, we've got kind of a family history here. I have two autistic nephews, and I've just watched my brothers and their spouses, you know, take care of these kids for 20 plus years, and they really do it like it's nothing. I mean, you just do it because you have to. Yeah.
Right. And because you guys are you're a couple, you're married, and so that adds another element which I always find interesting, because I come at it with my experience as a daughter and with my favorite person in the world. You know, I loved my mom. She was my favorite person. She made me feel like $1 million, and she made everybody feel like $1 million. And she brought light into every room she went into. And I miss her terribly, but you know what? I wasn't going to miss her while she was here. Right. And that's the important part, is that you know, when I always thought in the back of my mind, I'm so lucky she's still here. I'm so lucky she's still here. And I just made the best of it. And, you know, and you will always be here, like all of it. It's just in a different way.
Wow, that's very well put.
Right? I mean, it's so true. Yeah. It's so true. And I love that you guys are doing this together. I'm always so impressed by couples, whether you're married or not, who are just taking it on and you know, going through life. And you are, you know, my mother's husband, my stepdad, was 12 years older than my mom, George. George never had cognitive issues. He was 12 years older, but he started to lose his eyesight. He started to lose his hearing. He's ended up in a wheelchair. And my mother was perfectly healthy physically, like, you know, just a pistol. And nothing wrong with her ears. And so she was the ears and eyes. He was the memory. And together they made a perfect person. Right? Yeah. And they were a team. They were such a great team, you know. And I think that's beautiful. So I love that. What can I, and you can tell me if you don't want to answer this, what scares you the most, Richard?
Well, the unknown of what might be coming, because I don't really know what's coming. I say watching your movie last night was like, okay, you start to see there's going to be more to this. That's what worries me a little bit. The one lucky thing I'll say real quick was, because when we were trying to figure out what was going on, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to turn to, what to do. And it's just funny, through playing pickleball, I ran into a guy that I went to high school with that I didn't know in high school. But 50 years later, because we had a big class, 50 years later, I meet this guy. And we get to know each other. We play the same level, so I'm seeing him all the time. And little by little, get to know him. And I said, well, Bob, what did you do for your whole career? He said, well, you know, I used to run these group homes. I owned a bunch of group homes, and we took care of Alzheimer's patients. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You know, Alzheimer's, dementia. And I'm like, well, this guy might be able to help me. And sure enough, I started telling him about what I was going through. And he said, oh, Richard, call this woman, Mary, at Compassionate Care. Man, everything changed.
Oh. So. It's like our partner Rick Moncastle says, there's no coincidences. It's like, that's incredible. That's just what you needed when you needed it.
Yeah. So we got a huge support group in front of us, which is great. Now we're meeting you, and
Well, count us
Great.
in. Count us in. I'll throw my hat in the ring. I love what you guys are doing. I love that you're just moving on. And every day is a new normal. Every day. Sometimes it's like, it's interesting just to share with you a little bit about my experiences that with my mom, because she lived with me in the movie that you watched. That was the year she lived with me. And right after my stepdad died, because she was having, Groundhog's Day. She kept forgetting that Georgie had died. And I wasn't going to let her go through that by herself. I wanted to get her to the point where she remembered. And she finally did. Because every day she'd go, "Where's Georgie?" And I'd say, "Mommy, he died." "What? Nobody told me?" Why didn't I go to the funeral? "Mommy, you were at the funeral. Look." And I had made it like, a memorial brochure. And so I would show it to her. She'd go, "Oh, okay." Took me about 2 weeks. Finally, after 2 weeks, she said, "Where's George?" I said, "Think." And she goes, "He died." Bingo. And that was it. She didn't ask me again. So, there are ways to get memories to stick, right? And
Okay.
and when they're important. Because if they're not important, who cares?
Okay.
During COVID, I had another group that we called Memories Are So Yesterday. Who cares? Because we put so much currency and stock on memory. And really, one thing, and I think you'll notice this, you will discover this, and so will you, Stephanie, is that I think Alzheimer's throws you into the ultimate state of Zen because you really are focused on now. Because your memories get a little hazy of yesterday. You don't really think about the future. So you really focus on now, and that's really what's important is now.
And making now the
that's 'cause it's
best
all
it
we
can
have.
be. Yeah, making
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Stephanie, when you watched the movie, how did it affect you? Did you feel like, I'll just ask, how did it affect you in any way as you were watching it, or make you think about anything in particular? Did it give you a positive outlook, or how did that affect you?
Actually, I'll just cut it. I didn't want her to watch the movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
She didn't watch the movie.
That's fine.
I just thought, she will now, but
I understand.
I didn't know how she would
Yeah.
take it. Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
totally understand that. Yes, and
Oh, I would love, if you do watch it, I would absolutely love to hear what you think about it because although, listen, we all, Dawn's mommy has Parkinson's and she's been going through hallucinations, right? And it's scary for her because not only is she going through hallucinations, she knows she's going through it while it's happening. So, and I liken that to my mom in the movie, Richard, is where my mom knew she had Alzheimer's and she knew when she was getting agitated and she was straddling the fence, right? And so it was so frustrating to her not to be able to control that part, but then, and wanting to really understand it, but then also like telling me, as you saw, this is what it is, girl. And one day, you got to put me away as a joke, she said, and I of course joked back and said, "Oh, you're going. Don't worry about that. You're not ready yet." But so it was like it was. It's anything with life. It's just acknowledging what the truth is and the new normal, and then moving on. And as with any other disability, when you lose one, others get heightened, which I wanted to show at the end, which is what prompted the whole film, was that these three disparate people, really lifted each other at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that was well done. Yeah, very well done.
It's just a beautiful story, and you can't make that up. And my mom, being mommy, always being mommy, with this 6 foot tall, gorgeous, transgender woman, and just went into mommy mode and was like, "Now you knock that off right now," So I just thought, there you go. That's her that's her emotional reserve, was my mom. So when push came to shove, my mom's emotional reserve was always there, right? And that's so just to tell you. And I know I get that you have such a great understanding of this, Stephanie. You're so very calm about it, which I think is beautiful. And I think that you're a great, a great spokesperson for this disease, because you're just going on and doing what you do, and you see, and I don't know, I don't know you, but I'm proud of you, and I think that it's a beautiful thing, and important, and because you got a lot of life to live.
Mm-hmm.
Got lots of things to
Can't be
do.
driving though. There's no driving.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Driving's
okay.
overrated.
Yeah.
It's overrated. Yeah, it's nice. So you get chauffeured around. Who cares?
You can relax.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And I just love driving her everywhere.
Don't you, Richard?
I do.
Yeah.
What else are we gonna do, right?
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're still dancing, and music and dance is still part of your life, because I think that's
Yes.
so important to keep that part of your mind, because music is something you can always tap into, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dancing, is great for cognitive, it's wonderful. Do you find
it's
that
it's the best.
Yeah. Do you find that those, it's still no problem right now? Or are there times where you're like, I'm not sure where to go with this? Or you're finding that's still something you can tap into and have no issues?
Yeah.
With the dancing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on that. I mean, we were dancing last night. Couldn't believe how well we were doing. Yeah. No, it's still working great. Yeah.
That's
Wonderful.
great. That's great. Keep dancing. I love it. You guys, can you send us videos that we can put in the?
Yeah, we'll send to one of our team. We actually performed it around DC a few times, so it was a
Right
lot of fun.
on. I
Oh,
love
good.
it.
We
That
can
was a lot
put
of
it in the
fun.
I
show.
love it. I love it. All right,
Stephanie,
I'm going to share that I competed with hip hop with my group, and guess what? We
Oh.
won. We won,
Yay.
and it was it was like winning a freaking Oscar for me. I couldn't have been more excited, because I conquered it, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was the most incredible day. Anyway, yeah, keep dancing, keep dancing, keep
Yeah,
dancing.
no, good for you. That's
And Stephanie, do you
What were you
want?
gonna say,
Do you
Dave?
feel like you have the, to do any more writing? Do you feel like you even maybe want to journal about what you're going through, anything like that, or is that something that you feel like you want to do?
I don't really think I want to do a journal. No.
Anything creative that you want to maybe tap into?
Not so far.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of other books that I wrote. So maybe we'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll try to get one of those published.
Well, we'd love the
Good.
world would love
Yeah,
to see
do
those.
it. You should, absolutely. We interviewed one of the first book that I took on about Alzheimer's was written by Greg O'Brien, who had Alzheimer's, who was a journalist, and on the East Coast, and very, very prolific, articulate, smart, witty. And he's been doing keynote speaking all over the world since he was diagnosed. His mother had it, and he continues to write, because that's his cognitive reserve. That's where I learned about cognitive reserve, was from Greg. And he did write a book about his journey, but that's because he's a journalist. That's what he did, right? And I found it extraordinary interviewing him, because he had been living with it for years. And I couldn't tell he had anything wrong cognitively at all. And I said, how? I don't believe you have it. You're lying. I don't believe it. And he said, I write everything down. Everything. As it happens, I write it down. I'm just sharing that with you, Stephanie. Maybe that, just like if it's important, maybe just write it down. I forget. But he was uncanny about that, right, Don?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
was incredible.
he was aware, and he would write about even how whatever it felt like at the time, things like that helped him. And it was interesting, because we have questions to say, wait, do you understand, like, if you're going through a little bout of something where you're not,
Agitation,
do you remember?
yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember even doing it, or how do you felt doing it? And I don't know if you've had,
did.
and he did, and
He did because he wrote it down. That's the difference. Like, I'm with you, Stephanie. I don't want a journal. That's just not my thing. Like, I'm bored with myself. Like, I don't care. I really don't. I know it's supposed to be very therapeutic, and but it's not my thing. I just look back at my few diaries that I did as a kid, and it's just I don't really care.
Everyone's different. I mean, it's like we have another friends of ours, very close friends of ours, and they, as a couple, they ran marathons all around the world, even while, and she, to this day,
was diagnosed with early onset. Yeah.
Onset, and to continue to do her thing, and that's why I love to hear that you're still dancing and doing the things you love, because that's so important for your soul, for your mind, everything. So good on you.
Are you a dancer too, Don? Does Don dance?
No.
Okay.
That would be something nobody wants to see.
He's a great watcher. I gotta tell you this though. I will show him my videos every time, and he knows everything. Like, he'll go, "Oh, you did that turn really well," or he'll go, "Oh, I saw you," and he'll notice every little detail. So he has a very good appreciation for it. So I have to give him props for that.
Yeah, it just doesn't go from here down to my feet. It doesn't work.
No, Don is 6'3", and he has. I call him the Tin Man because he is like he needs an oil can. He's like, yeah. Yeah. So dance, no. No, but you do. But you're very good. You're a very good audience.
I could do other things.
And connoisseur. Yeah. He does other things very well.
We'll be right back.
I'm Peter, owner of Peter's Fan Photography, and I want to talk to you about something important: preserving memories. Time moves quickly, and before we know it, those we love may no longer be with us. For the last few years, I've taken complimentary professional headshots of seniors in a local retirement home, helping families capture the essence and personality of their loved ones through beautiful photos. I've seen firsthand how meaningful these images can be. When I photographed my own parents, I realized how powerful it is to have these lasting memories, photos that capture smiles, stories, and the unique spirit of the people we care about most. If your parents or loved ones are still with you, don't wait. These images can bring comfort and joy for years to come, whether it's for remembering silly moments or honoring family history. My message is simple: get photos of your loved ones while you can. Hire a local photographer, use your camera, cell phone, whatever it takes. Just do it now. For more information, visit peterisfanphotography.com.
So the book is for children. Where can we get the book? Where can people find it?
Anywhere, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, all the different places.
What's the gist of the story? I know, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, the Blue-Footed Booby likes to go places. He doesn't want to sit at home. He wants to go all over the place. So, he has adventures. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So he's a happy bird. Yeah.
Got it. So basically, if he wasn't traveling, he wouldn't be happy, is what it
No,
right?
he would be very unhappy. Yes.
And dancing.
Yeah, so he travels all over the country looking for romance and dancing. There's some dancing in there too. And in the end, he gets homesick and he realizes home is where I'd rather be. And he goes home. He flies back to the Galapagos Islands. He tours the United States and then he gets homesick and he goes back to the Galapagos Islands.
Yep.
Nice.
See, I've done all 50 states myself, so
Oh, wow.
a lot in common. Me and
Wow.
the bird. Yep.
That's
We
amazing.
always write what we know. We write what we know. That's the most powerful. I love it. I love the title because I love a good alliteration, and I like
a good booby.
I like anything, and a good booby. Yeah, I love that.
People always scratch their head. Wait a minute, booby, child's book. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, I have a 2-year-old granddaughter who loves boobies. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah. Gaga, you got boobies? Yes, I do.
And now we have a book to share with her.
Yeah, she'll love your book. She's going to love it because it has the word booby in it. Yeah. She always goes, "Oh, are those your boobies?" Yes. Oh.
Yeah, well, the illustrations, that was a tough part. That took a long time to do. So the words, she started with the words, and then we had to get it illustrated.
Of course.
And that's what the kids like, is the illustrations.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
those words, the words inspire that illustration. You know, it's if
Yeah.
an artist is going to take those words, and that's what inspires what we see. So you obviously did some very nice words.
Yeah, no, and I think it's important. I think your message is great. And I think, I forgot what it's, because the little one's very much like me, because she's very independent but interested, and, she thinks she knows more than she does, right? But but she wants to know everything. So she's always asking me everything. What, Gaga, name. And I tell her that, and name, So she's and while I'm reading to her, she points out everything in the picture. She wants to know what it is, and then she doesn't forget. So books are really important. That's why, obviously. But I mean, you forget when I haven't been a mommy of a little kids for quite a while. So it's interesting to watch that process again and remember how important it is, right? And how curious they are. And so we have these blank slates, if you will, to really give them brain nutrition for their brain, right? To really guide them. So it's great. So I love that. My mom loved to travel, by the way. There wasn't a place she didn't travel to, and that was her joy. Joy was to travel and go and meet, and she collected art, so she went everywhere and met artists, and that was just, so I understand that drive to go somewhere and see.
Do you still want to travel?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody
keep
wants
going.
to take me to Paris, that'd be fun,
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I'll go with you. Who wouldn't?
Maybe you'll write a book together.
Well, this has been a joy to have you. I really want to follow your journey, because I think you guys are terrific, and I just love your, the way you're just sort of very relaxed and going with the flow, which took me a very long time to learn. I started out thinking I was Supergirl, and I was gonna cure this disease. I said, "Mom, just sit. Don't worry, I got this." Yeah, other people say they tried, but we got this. And then it didn't take me too long to figure out that I had delusions of grandeur, and that I was going to have to figure out another way to go through this. So I love how relaxed you both are. And Stephanie, I love that you're allowing us to ask you questions and talk about it, and you're just, who you are. And thank you, actually, for being a judge and being part of our system for so long. And I have such respect for that. Go girl, woman. I'm very excited to know you because of all of the things you've done. Very illustrious and very powerful. So continue on being powerful, please, and enjoy. And both of you are very lucky to have each other. You obviously met for a reason 12 years ago.
Yep.
And
No,
keep
thank
on
you
dancing.
for everything you're doing. I mean, it's really been a pleasure getting to know you and read about some of the stuff you're doing. There was a lot on your website, so now little by little we're going to go through all of it and see some of the other movies. But boy, keep doing what you're doing. It's really helpful for all of us.
Oh, thank you. That puts wind in my sails. Thank you, because you never know. We live in little, our silos, so it's hard to know sometimes if you're reaching people. So thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. Very much. Yeah, and again, thank you. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being so open and transparent. And it truly does make me feel so good and warms my heart that you will trust us with your story and allowing us to pry into your private life, So what else? Is there anything we missed that you wanted to say?
No, just happy that we had this opportunity to meet. It's just funny how we got there. We do a book, and then they're the ones that told us about you, and
Yes.
here we are. So
Yeah, it takes a village.
It takes a village, and it also takes love. And you know
Yeah.
why it takes love? Well, that's because love
Why
is...
Why, Don?
Well, I'll tell you. Love is powerful. Love is contagious, and love conquers alls. We thank everybody for coming by today,
Boom, boom, boom,
watching,
boom,
listening. If you like what you saw or heard, please subscribe and share and do all those fun things. And definitely check out the book. We'll have all that information in the show notes.
The Blue-Footed Booby Blues.
Woohoo!
Padoo.
And thank you. And we will definitely be seeing you next time on Love Conquers All.
Absolutely.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody. Love you.
I'm Angela Fairhurst, founder of Jerry Gadgets, a revolutionary solution for dementia care. Inspired by my personal journey caring for my mother with dementia, I developed patented sensory tools that engage loved ones, reduce anxiety, and create joyful moments without medication, providing much-needed relief for caregivers. Jerry Gadgets currently come in 3 silicone buckets with activities like flower arranging, shape sorting, and tactile fidgets, with more in development. Each Jerry Gadget is designed to stimulate the senses, fostering connection and communication, even at advanced stages of cognitive decline. Non-toxic, built to last, and dishwasher safe, Jerry Gadgets transform caregiving by promoting engagement, improving quality of life, and offering caregivers a respite from constant supervision. Discover how our innovative products can bring joy and meaningful interaction to your loved ones with dementia while easing the caregiver's burden. Visit jerrygadgets.com to learn more and start making every moment count.
For a limited time, you can get 20% off your next order of Jerry Gadgets by going to www.ssww.com, Jerry Gadgets for Dementia.